Hey, welcome into Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Happy Gilmore 2, give you my non spoiler review of the movie and what I thought of it. Folks, this is a comedy starring Adam Sandler, and it's a sequel to his hit in 1986, Happy Gilmore. I will say this to start out, you probably want to watch the first one before you see the second one so that you get more of the jokes. You don't necessarily have to watch it to really get the storyline because he does kind of catch you up at the beginning of it. But it's a little bit funnier if you watch the first one and then the second one successively if you haven't seen the first one. If you know the first one and know it real well, like I do, you can dive right into the second one and enjoy it. And yes, I did say enjoy it. This movie was a pleasant surprise. Most sequels that they're doing nowadays have not been up to par and have not been as good, but Adam Sandler himself wrote this and starred in it, and he did a great job of bringing his character forward. Almost what 30 years in the future. I mean, he's jumped forward with Happy since 96 to 2025. So did a great job. I would say overall, my impression of this movie is about a 7 out of 10. It's on Netflix, so it's a little bit more accessible to people rather than going into a movie theater. And it was the most watched Netflix release with 46.7 million views in the first 3 days, which is the biggest opening weekend for any Netflix movie. So kudos to Happy Gilmore 2. Kudos to Netflix. That's really great. So overall, folks, like I said, I give this a 7 out of 10. It is a funny film. I think it's a little bit funnier than I just recently did Naked Gun. Naked Gun was a funny film. I give it about a 6.5. This one's a little bit funnier. It's a 7. It's hard to give comedies, your 8s and 9s and 10s because those are movies that have, intricate plots and are like classic all-time movies. But this one's a hilarious comedy, and it's worthy of the sequel, and it's worthy of the first one. So if you like the first one, you'll definitely like this one. If you're not an Adam Sandler fan and don't like his style of comedy, I'm afraid you may not like this one as much because it's very much Adam Sandler style and it's very much his type of movie. If you like the Happy Gilmores, the Water Boys, the Billy Madisons, just his classic Sandler comedies from the 90s, you'll like this movie because it has the same type of humor, the same type of style as those movies. And I'm so thankful for it because personally, I think that's what we're missing today. We're missing just the fun, funny films of today. It feels like everything is either social or political in some way, shape, or form, and has to have some underlying messaging. And I want to watch a movie and have a good time and not worry about what's going on in the real world. And I know that a lot of people agree with me that they want that too. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You can be on whatever aisle you want. I don't care. I just entertain me and let me escape and just relax and have fun with the movie. And that's what this movie does. So kudos to Adam Sandler. Kudos to the whole cast that did this. We're going to go over kind of the little bit of the plot. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. We're going to talk about some of the cameos because there are a ton. And we're going to talk about the music and some of the things that reoccur in this movie. So, this takes place in 2025. Happy has 4 boys and 1 girl. His boys are a little bit older, and he's got a young girl who is almost college age, and she is trying to go to a prestigious school in France for her dancing. She is a dancer, a ballet dancer, and the main gist of this movie is Happy Gilmore trying to raise enough funds to send her to that school. Well, you kind of go, well, how did that happen? What happened with Happy Gilmore? How come he doesn't already have the funds to send her to school? Well, that's part of the plot, and it mentioned the very first part of the movie is that his wife Virginia is in it, but she is kind of gone in the first part of it, and you'll find out why. And then Happy kind of gives up on golf, becomes an alcoholic, unfortunately, and he, loses money. He loses money badly, and so he's living with his daughter. His 4 boys have grown up and graduated high school, maybe even college. I don't know if they've gone that far, but they're living together and they've got jobs and they're okay. But he and his daughter are living together with another pro golfer that lives kind of in the basement, which is pretty funny, and we'll get to him in a minute. But basically, it's about him having to go back to golf as a means of getting this $300,000 to send her to school. Well, the interesting thing, if you're familiar with the first one, it was $300,000 that he had to raise to save grandma's house, which he does get kicked out of in this one. So there you go. That's the plot for this movie. It's Happy trying to regain his form, regain his prestige, and play golf to do this. And that's part of the plot. The other part of the plot involves a new golf forum that's done, and these are kind of the bad guys challenging the PGA, and that's where kind of the story takes off from there. So a lot of fun, great energy, great storyline, great idea for it as well. Making it more of a family type thing where he's trying to find something for his daughter, just like he was trying to support his grandma in the first one. I always like that Adam Sandler tries to add a little bit of element of that in his movies, but also, he's dealing with real life, and I think that makes the character more relatable. He's this guy that made it and then lost it all, and a lot of us can relate to being down on our luck, having the highs and lows of real life, and that's great. I love how he did that. He relates to common everyday folks like you and me, which is great. So a lot of fun, great plot, great idea. The funny thing is how he gets his golf skills back and how he competes and what they do to compete against this new golf league and how that unfolds. That's essentially what this movie is about. And in with this movie are tons of cameos, tons of actors from the first one. Quite a few come back. And we're going to get into some of that right now. I'm going to run down kind of who's starring in the movie just to kind of let you know, give you an idea. And, we'll tell you some more. Of course, Adam Sandler starred in it and he wrote it. Julie Bowen is Virginia, who is back here, who's his wife, who, at the beginning you find out what happens to her tragically. Christopher McDonald is back as Shooter McGavin, and he does a great job. He's a lot of fun. It's funny what happens to him and how he comes back. So I think you'll like that. The new kind of bad guy is Benny Sedalfi, and he does a good job. He's got the new Maxi energy drink, and Maxi Golf is the new golf thing. So Happy's new caddy is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, and he's a former busboy, and he does a great job. He's fantastic in this. I love that. The one golfer that he ends up living in it has a lot of scenes in it. It's John Daly. He's a fictionalized version of himself. He's a hermit who lives in Happy's garage. It's very funny. There are a lot of fun scenes with John Daly. Actually, there's maybe a little bit too much John Daly, but I think it's funny and he does a great job. Ben Stiller is back. He reprises his role as Hal L. Except this time he's not in a nursing home. He's a support group for alcoholics. And Ben Stiller does a great job in this role. It's a lot of fun. It's very funny what he does. If you liked him in the first one, you'll like him in this one. He just does a great job. I like Ben Stiller does some really good work. I like him as villains in certain movies. Dodgeball, he was a great villain. He was a great villain in the first Happy Gilmore, and he's a good villain in this one. He also plays some good guys in some other movies, Something About Mary and a few others that I think he does really well. But always like Ben Stiller. I think he does a great job in this one as well. Adam Sandler's family, his wife is the dance teacher. One of his daughters is part of the support group and house support group in there. And then his daughter, Sunny, is actually Happy's youngest child. And she does a great job in this. I like what she does. You got a couple of other guys that play his kids. He's got 4 of them. Maxwell Friedman is Gordy. Ethan Kukowski is Wayne. They're all named after hockey players, which is not surprising because it's Happy Gilmore and his first love was actually hockey. And then you got a couple, Philip Schneider is Bobby and Connor Sherry is Terry. So those are his kids. Dennis Dugan returns as the head of professional golf tour. You'll remember him in the first one. He's back in this one. He has a minor role, but he's still worth mentioning. Kevin Nealon is one of the SNL alum that returns, and we'll get to some of those guys that return here. He plays Gary Potter. You remember him from the first one. He first meets Happy on the golf course, and he said, positive vibes, this and that. Ignore this, and Happy's reacting like, okay, thank you. Get the heck away. So now he works as a commentator for the Golf Channel, and you'll see some hilarious bits with him. Love Kevin Nealon. I think he was just a lot of fun on Saturday Night Live. He's been in several movies and bit parts, and I think he's great. And he's a lot of fun. A big surprise, I didn't even know it was Haley Joel Osment, but he plays Billy Jenkins, who's a pro golfer. You find out about him. He's great. Lavelle Crawford is Slim Peterson, who is the son of Chubbs, which is cool. So you have a tie to the original Chubbs, and you'll see what happens with that. I'll mention some of the pro golfers that are actually really in this. There are a lot of pro golfers that are in it, but the main ones that they come back that play in this, that have a little bit larger role: Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, and Scotty Scheffler are fictionalized versions of themselves. Scotty Scheffler, there's a lot of jokes with some of the things that happen to him. So if you know pro golf, you'll find out. But they do a great job. It's a lot of fun. There's some funny moments with each of them that I think just make the show even funnier. And it makes the golfing in the movie a little bit more realistic and a little bit more fun. I'm so glad that you have so many PGA former golfers and current golfers that decide to be in this with Adam. They make the show a little bit more enjoyable and just add a fun feel to it. Makes it more fun, Even if you don't like golf, it's fun to see the actual pros get involved in like this. You don't see that very many of these movies, but that these guys really did a good job of doing that. William Zaklartis is actually a pro golfer. And the funny thing about him is that even though he wasn't in the first Happy Gilmore, a lot of people have said, gosh, you look like the original caddy for Happy Gilmore. Well, he was just a baby when that came out. But yeah, he does look like him. And so they just had to write him in to play that exact person. So you get to see that in here. And that's a lot of fun. One of the ones that I'll mention later on is Eminem does have a cameo. I won't tell you who he is. I didn't know who he was because he pulls it off so well. It's a lot of fun, but his cameo is fantastic. Let's go over a couple of other cameos in this and other people that are in this movie that they're just great to see. Once again, here are the pro golfers. John Daly, as I mentioned, there's a lot of him. Keegan Bradley, Fred Couples, Nick Faldo, Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler, Jim Furyk, Sergio Garcia, Charlie Hull, Hunter Mahan, Colin McElroy, Jack Nicklaus, who has a couple funny lines, Corey Pavin, Xander Scheffel, who is in it. Jordan Spieth has a cameo. Justin Thomas and Lee Trevino is back, except Lee Trevino is a little bit more with Happy this time. He talks to him and mentions stuff. He's not just the comic relief of, for the first one. He's always there. He's there when Chubbs died on. He's there when Happy messes up and is like shaking his head. And he's there with the famous line when Happy challenges Shooter and Shooter goes, and Grizzly Adams had a beard. And Lee Trevino is quick to point out Grizzly Adams did have a beard. And Grizzly Adams' beard comes up. You got to catch it, but it's in there. So that's there. Bryson DeChambeau, I've already mentioned. Bruce Koepka, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler are all in there. So that's some of the pro golfers. I mean, it's just awesome that we get all these guys in there. Some former Saturday Night Live cast members are in there. I mentioned Kevin Nealon, who reprises his role from the first one. He's in it. He does a great job. Jon Lovitz. I love Jon Lovitz. He's one of my favorite SNL characters. I love him in just about every movie that he's in. He's just an incredible comedian. I think he's fantastic. He's hilarious in this. His cameo is a lot of fun. If you like Jon Lovitz, you'll laugh your butt off because this is perfect for him and perfect for his role. It had me roaring. I just was giggling. I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard watching his cameo in this. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, the great Rob Schneider, who I had the chance to meet and get his autograph. He's in this as well. I won't spoil it, but it's a minor role, but he does a great job. I love Rob Schneider. Great guy. He was a lot of fun. When I met him last year, I got to talk to him about Necessary Roughness, which was his first film. Of course, filmed kind of in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I'm from, and really depicted some of the college football teams in that movie in this area. And so it was a lot of fun to talk to him and meet him and get his autograph. He's a great guy. And I was so happy to see him in this movie. There were some great sportscasters that were in this. So if you grew up like I did in the 80s and 90s and you were a sports junkie like I became, you'll recognize all the guys from ESPN. So you got Dan Patrick, who's once on ESPN, now has his own show. He's got his own YouTube channel as well. Check it out, Dan Patrick. He's got a cameo in this. Chris Berman's in it, and I love Chris Berman. Always loved Chris Berman, especially football. Back. Verne Lundquist, longtime announcer for the PGA. But hey, guess what? Got to start as a Cowboys announcer. So he's got Dallas ties as well. Love Verne. So glad that he was able to do this. He's getting up there in age, and he's just great. He's a treasure. Stephen A. Smith has a good cameo. He's funny in this. And then Jim Gray also is in this. He's a lot of fun. Once again, returning characters, Virginia Shooter, Hal, Doug Thompson, head of the golf. And then, you've got a couple of relatives of other characters who had long since passed away that make cameos in this one. So be looking for those. Some of them are played by famous athletes or other famous people. Which is really good. And they're dressed like that character. And it's really, really a lot of fun. Really good nods to the first one. So that's what's great about it. Others that I have to mention, Steve Buscemi is hilarious. He plays the neighbor next door. And it's just Steve Buscemi. I mean, guys, Steve Buscemi for all his zany stuff that he does in every movie. He does crazy stuff and he plays the outlandish guys in his movies. That's what he does in this one. He's a lot of fun. Always like him. Always thought he was funny. He brings back the 90s and early aughts humor that he's famous for. And it's a lot of fun in this one. Surprisingly, Travis Kelce is very funny in this. I think he does a good job. He's a waiter and he's got a little bit of an attitude and he's a lot of fun. He's very funny. I didn't know Travis Kelce was that funny, but Travis Kelce may have a future in show business. If he can keep this up, I thought he did a great job in his cameo. Mention Eminem. Look for him. It's real subtle. I didn't know it was Eminem until afterwards, but he does a great job. I'm not going to drop any hints, but I will say this. There's a famous comedian that died in the last year that he's kind of the son of in this. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you know, you know. The other one that has an interesting cameo is somebody from the town I live in right now, Grapevine, Texas, Post Malone. Post Malone is one of the announcers for the new golf group, and he does a good job offering some funny lines, and he's with Verne Lundquist and some others, and he does a good job too. So look for those cameos. They're great. I just think it's a lot of fun and very funny. Okay. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the soundtrack. This one, the reason why I want to talk about the soundtrack is it has a lot of great classic rock. And Adam Sandler brings the classic rock. A lot of these movies bring back some of these great tunes from the 70s and 80s to the big screen, and I love it. That's why I want to mention it. There are a couple that are repeated. For instance, Tuesday's Gone, which is one of my favorite tracks by Leonard Skinner, is back in this, highly featured. Love it. Usually in a flashback scene, the first one, flashback scene in this one. So Tuesday's Gone is back. Rambling Gambling Man by Bob Seger is in there. And guess what? That song is also features another great musician who we tragically lost in 2016. Glenn Frey is on that record, on that song. So Bob Seger with Glenn Frey before he became a member of the Eagles and before he started the Eagles was with Bob Seger. Of course, the classic Sam the Sham and the Pharaoh's Wooly Bully is there. Jukebox Hero by Foreigner. Yes, it rocks. It's in there. Magic by Pilot is back. It was in the first one. Adam Sandler uses that throughout some of his movies. Great song. Fits perfectly in here. Blue Moon by The Miracles. You guys know that song. That's an oldie but goodie. Is in there. Eye of the Tiger has an appearance. Love that tune. Of course, from Rocky 3 and Survivor. Great song. Goodbye to You by Scandal is great. It's in there. It has an interesting fitting episode of it. It's very funny. It fits perfectly with it. And The Waiting by Tom Petty. The late, great Tom Petty has that song featured in this. So, folks, if you like that kind of music, you'll love that and the placing in this. Lots of tributes to the first one. I'll talk a little bit about him as we wrap up. Obviously, he's got his swing back, and there's a lot more to the swing. It's a major plot point to the movie that's in this one. His kid's doing some of the same goofy stuff that he did, where he talks about different odd jobs. Well, the kids have different odd jobs where they're doing some of the same things. So it's kind of a fun tribute. I will say this. There is a graveyard scene that is a lot of fun. It has a lot of Easter eggs in it to the first one. Look at the tombstones. Look at what happens. You'll see different things, particularly when they're coming out of the graveyard. There's another one that's hilarious that if you don't know the first one, you might miss it. So, but yeah, folks, Happy Gilmore 2, once again, I'd say it's a 7 out of 10. Very nostalgic, has good ties to the first one, continues the story in a heartwarming way. Adam Sandler does a great job. The comedy is similar to the 90s. It's just fun comedy. And it's one of those that you can watch and have a good time with. And when you're done, you felt like you just had a good time. And that's what's so important. That's why we need these comedies. That's why we need these movies out. That's why I think you should see this one if you're an Adam Sandler fan and if you like the first Happy Gilmore. If it's not your type of humor, you probably aren't going to like it. But there are a lot of people that love Adam Sandler. If you like his movies, I think this one's perfect. Anyway, that's my take. Folks, I'm going to leave a link on here that gives you a link to a couple of my other reviews, particularly for the new Naked Gun movie, Fantastic Four, and Superman. And coming up, I'm going to do a Billy Joel review for his new documentary that came out on HBO. I'm also going to do a celebration for my 10,000 subscribers. And then coming up, we're going to debut August 10th on Sunday. We're going to debut a new segment on the show about Westerns that we love. And we're going to give a historical aspect to them. And it's with Heather L. and I, and maybe some other guests. And this week's episode is going to be Tombstone. So don't miss it. We'll have links coming up. So I'm going to leave you with an outro. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Need some watch hours to get monetized. And if I get monetized, man, I've got some good plans for my channel that I know you guys will enjoy. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.